Surprised about how many people actually looked at the video and shared it for mixing your color at home or applying your color at home during an emergency when you can't get to a salon. Decided to do an advanced one. I hope you like it. I'm going to go over a little bit of picking your colors, mixing, documenting, protecting your face and hair from the color, and also showing you one of my NBC videos from the past from doing color at home. Hope you enjoy it. Well, I still have the quarantine hair, and but did apply a little makeup. Chin's gonna be up this time, no gobble gobble. Anyway, wanted to do a little phase 2 on picking colors. This is just for basics, it's not for extreme hair color changes. If you're a blonde with dark roots, this is not a video for you. When you pick colors though, there is a way that you could do it a little more professionally, and it doesn't really cost long-term extra money. That's by picking a combination of colors. Your color, what you want to think of it as is that your root color is in a bowl and you're going to mix other colors with it to create a color. So therefore, if you want to be an auburn tone that is brown with some red, and if you put it on brown hair that doesn't have much gray, like this door here, it's going to be a richer brown. If you have a lot of gray and your hair is more on the light side, like the wall, and you put a red-brown, like an auburn tone on it, it's going to be a brighter red, a lighter red. So therefore, if people want a more even color, they don't want to worry about the red getting too flashy, where they have more gray smack in the front, you can get an auburn tone for your darker brown color, and then use the same color, but add a little of that brown to it to even it out. So you're mixing your own, it's like an artist on a palette. The first time you go in, it might cost you more because you're buying 2 different colors. But once you do it a couple of times, you only need what you need to use. You could save the rest for later. So long term, it doesn't cost you anymore to be safer and get the color you want. I often tell people if they are gonna color their hair at home, if you can't avoid it, I know with the coronavirus now, there's beauty supplies that are closed, like Sally's, but those are always better to go to rather than like the CVS, where people are more cashiers than hairstylists. They don't work with the products as much. They don't have people coming in saying, God, that didn't work. And you want to do your first time color when that person will be there if it doesn't work and you need to go back to the store and say, look, I did what you told me and this is what happened. You don't want to do it before an event or before you have to go to work or on a Saturday when the store is closed on Sunday. So for that first time, until you get your color right, make sure that you can go back and try to have some type of correction. Again, really avoid doing any color at home that is extreme, a lot different from your outgrowth. While you're at the store, you want to read the directions, because it might say you need to buy gloves or protection, and at least you're at the store already, rather than trying to find something at home that's going to work. Let's see, I did take some notes also to remind myself. When you do put it in a bowl, you always want to first mark down what your formula is. With that, you could say, this is what I did, where do I need to make an adjustment? I always say do it before you mix, because it's going to be more accurate later on. You're going to start to forget. Also, I always lay everything down on the table and the counter from left to right as I use it, especially as you start going and you might have bottles that are half empty, and when you put it in the bowl, it doesn't look brown or red or ash. You cannot tell. And then you're going to forget which one you just put in. So always have a habit that you put everything on one side, and as you use them, you put them on the other side. Any color adjustments, write them down before you put them in the bowl. If you have 2 bowls, I always will only mix the color I'm going to use first. This way it gives you an aha. Do not use that color. That's the last color. Also, if you have 2 different color bowls, use the dark one for the darker color, or have your own different system so you don't mix the colors up. Make sure you close the colors tight. You might want to lay out something that will protect the counter so you don't have any drips. Wear a shirt you don't care about. A towel might be a color towel. And don't leave the color towel on once you apply the color. People do that and they look this way and that way and they get a mark. It's better to not have it. Have a couple clips to pull your hair back once you've applied that color so it doesn't start dragging on your face, you don't realize it, and you end up with stains. Remember the protection around the face and the neck, which could be conditioner, oil, it might be a stain remover that you got from the beauty supply. A lot of that has to do with your allergies. You could put something thicker on, but if you have greasy face, you might not want to do that. So kind of use your best judgment on what works for you. The darker the color, the more protection you have. The other thing we talked about was allergies, which is a strange remedy, and it corrects probably 80% of allergies. And just because you're allergic to a color doesn't mean it's a bad color. Even people are allergic to fish or almonds, so it's not like, oh, that color made me break out, it's bad. It really depends on the person. But the strange thing to do, what we've learned, a lot of hairdressers know, you put a couple of packets of Sweet and Low in your color, and it takes away all the allergies, probably 80%. Sweet and Low is now hard to get. It's Splenda and such, I heard doesn't work. I never tried it. I would go to Costco's, I would get the big box of Sweet and Low and just put it in my cart, share it with some other stylist, but it really makes a difference. I've used, 15, 20 different colors, color lines, or semi-permanent, and never had a problem with it making a challenge. I did have one color that it seemed to liquefy the color a little bit more, made it a little thinner. So it was a little harder to use because a little more drippy, but that was only with one color and still the results were fine. The amount would be, if you're just doing around the front, just one. You might put three max, not even three, probably more like one or two. Sometimes people have a huge amount of color. That's usually in the salon. That's when they're doing color from roots to ends with a semi-permanent. But you could just mix it in two separate bowls. You don't need to overdo it. It will never cause a problem. Let's see, what else did I put? Protecting highlights. The other thing that I put with protecting hair color, this is really meant to be a type of video that you could go a little longer before going to the salon because of emergency. Right now, it's the coronavirus crisis. And if you did go to the salon and maybe you got some highlights that you don't want to mess up, or maybe your ends are really light, when you rinse and maybe you're doing a brighter color, that might hit those highlights. It might hit the ends and you don't want to saturate with that. What you might do is get a little conditioner before you put their touch-up on, where you just put a little conditioner on those areas just to help avoid getting color on there and not ruining your highlight. This is mostly for just the end. Maybe advanced 3, we'll talk about the ends. When you measure, because you're not doing equal parts in a box, if you are choosing to do two different colors, you could use little baking spoons. In the salon, we used the food scales, and then you just put the bowl on, click to 0, put your amount. Then when you need the other, if it's equal amount, you push to 0 again with the bowl and the first color in, and then put your developer to make it equal amounts. Those are two ways that make it really easy. If you go by eye, you're not going to end up with some horrendous color. It just might not take as well if you put too much developer and not enough color, or if you put too much color, it might be darker than the original color intended to be. Let's see, stains remedy, strange remedy at home. And again, if you're at the beauty supply, I would recommend, of course, buying stain remover. It's really hard to find a good one. You could still be allergic to stain remover. One thing they say in salons is color removes color. So if you do have that color on, you also want to re-dampen those areas. If you have a lot of gray, to make sure it takes well. If it dries out, like I said on the first video, it often will not take. So if you just before you shampoo, massage that color in on that line, because color removes color, it can loosen up those stains that are on that little trim and rinse off well. Again, you're not going to get 100%. The other thing is using something abrasive. Nothing like toothpaste that's abrasive, that has that minty flair that's really gonna flare you up. But the little Ajax with a little bit of Windex, if you're desperate and you're at home and you're coloring with a darker color. And yes, it could make you a little bit red, so use it depending. If you have real fragile skin, then hey, just put some conditioner on it and sleep, and it'll shampoo out in the morning. Again, you put a lot of fragrance, that might not work for you if you're skin sensitive. Maybe it's your facial cream you know you're not allergic to. Put a little extra on a couple times just to loosen the stain. But that little comment trick actually does work. Not highly recommended, especially for those fragile skin types. Let's see, did I say everything? Oh, and then just make sure too, when it comes to like shower, or if you're rinsing in the kitchen sink, that you get whatever color might hit right away, because it will stain. So make sure you keep it wiped. Don't end up with stains in other areas. Hope that works. Good hair coloring. Bye. Hey, this next video I found while in quarantine cleaning out my videos and photos. This is a girl that was doing a lot of her hair color at home. She had a dark all natural base and she wanted to be blonde, and she would continue putting this blonde color on, which can't lift to the light color that she wanted. And once it lifts, it doesn't continue to lift. So she ended up with more of a one color orange brassy, which could look good, but wasn't her best color on her. And it also really dried her hair out. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time.
The Real Deal on Getting Gorgeous is brought to you by Plum Studios Salon in Burlingame.
It is true, coloring your hair at home can save you money, but if it goes wrong, it will end up costing you plenty. I'm Jeanette Pavini with The Real Deal on Getting Gorgeous, and here is Karen Francis Ulrich of Plum Studio Salons with what you need to know before you buy that box.
My name is Karen Francis Ulrich from Plum Studio Salon in Burlingame. I'm a stylist and owner full-time at the salon. So now we have Summer here, who's also been coloring her hair at home, and she wasn't as lucky with coloring her hair. She had a lot of unraveling. We had to change what we were going to put on her hair. We had to change her haircut, and we cut it according to her style that she wanted, which was to keep it longer. And we put in a lot of layers to take away all the damaged unraveling that we had. To keep her blonde, we did some highlights to pop them through. To keep it modern and healthy, we added all the depth underneath. So now when she does pull it back, she's got some really modern type of look in through here. Some of the golden that you see is her old color. And again, we just really updated her look. We kept her a blonde and went lighter while going darker, which also looks a lot better on her face complexion. So definitely there are ways to go about doing your hair color for a less expensive rate, whether or not you want to be a model or try it at home. But do know that cutting corners doesn't always work. It is the most expensive service in a salon, is color correcting, and it is the hardest on the hair. So make your best decision, get some advice, and choose the right way that works for you.
Plum Studios Salon in Burlingame is one of the Bay Area's premier salons with expertise in solving people's
Video actually was a girl who came in because her mother was wanting to do the makeup over show on NBC. And it did remind me of this news break that I just heard about these two hairdressers that assaulted a woman in the financial district last week. I heard that one hairdresser held this girl down while the other one redid her hair. Just kidding, I should have said that, right? Anyway, if you want an appointment for a hair color or cut when we are open after the coronavirus crisis, our number is 530-600-16. That is Imagine Salon in South Lake Tahoe. Have a great day. Bye now.